Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Nicole. I'm in the middle of a VLOGMAS adventure. If you want to follow along as I figure out this one woman show thing, then please feel free to subscribe. Right now, what I'm talking about is what I'm watching, what I'm reading, and what I'm doing. Also, I'm trying out just using my headphones to see if this helps with audio, but I hope it sounds okay. We'll see in a second. Also, I have a little bit of a different setup here. I'm also filming during the daytime, which is not normal for me. Apologies about the glare here. I don't have curtains in here, so it's fine. Also, sorry if I seem a little bit low energy. Mondays are just not my favorite day. I'm still going on about the different streaming services that exist and why I think that you should or shouldn't have them. Today, I kind of wanted to talk about HBO. It's now HBO Max. I guess now it's just Max. I don't know. Today, I want to state my case for having a Max subscription. I feel like we're all in the middle of streaming wars right now, and there's 1,000 different streaming services that are demanding our eyeballs all the time, as well as our money. Here's what I feel like is important to know about Max. Currently, it's the 5th most popular streaming service in the US, according to my infographic from Statista. They have about 96 million subscribers, significantly behind Netflix, Disney+, Hulu, and Prime Video. It's $9.99 a month with ads, gross, and $15.99 a month without ads. Again, still cheaper than cable, technically. Unlike Netflix, HBO started out as a premium TV network. In fact, it's the oldest running subscription TV service in the US. HBO really made a name for itself as the premier destination for like pay-per-view boxing matches, cutting-edge stand-up comedy specials, and movies where they said fuck a lot, and also had shows with boobies. So HBO was a pioneer in the space of premium television. Their original shows and movies and documentaries have been awarded Golden Globes, Emmys, all kinds of stuff for decades, well before Netflix came on the scene. And I wouldn't say that they were too late to adapt to streaming because they had all their content available to watch on things like Time Warner Cable's internal Netflix. I don't know what it's called. Wait. On demand? On demand. I used to use it all the time as a kid to catch up on like Boardwalk Empire and True Blood. I used to have all kinds of special channels too, like if you had a subscription on cable, there was like HBO, but then HBO 2, HBO Signature, HBO Zone, blah, 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 blah. And I think if you had HBO, you also automatically got Cinemax. And in the era of Game of Thrones, HBO was like on top of the world. They were really on top of their game. They had their own app called HBO Go, where you could basically watch all of their shows, both current and past, on your cable box, your Chromecast, PlayStation, whatever. But this app has since evolved into HBO Max, and now I think they're just Max. I've lost track. This is considered an over-the-top streaming service where they have not only HBO shows and movies, but also Discovery and Warner Brothers content too, and you don't need to have a cable subscription to access any of that. I think they have all these other channels too, because like Warner Brothers is technically HBO's parent company. So when you go on HBO or Max, when you go on there today, they have all kinds of hubs featuring content from like Discovery, Warner Brothers, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, Turner Classic Movies, and more. And it's cool how much content you get for like one subscription. It's like 1,300 shows, over 2,000 movies. I don't know. I had cable as a kid. In fact, my parents still give me shit for not having cable. So I grew up watching HBO, for better or worse. But I think that they've consistently put out good stuff until like The Idol and Euphoria. Hot take, don't be mad. I just feel like HBO has historically had great content. Like, their stuff has put so many great actors and directors on the map. From Sopranos to Euphoria, their shows are so good that it turns into like a worldwide phenomenon. Hello, Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. That are like, I hope someone understands what I'm trying to say. So, okay, so here's like a weird con, I would say, to Max and HBO in general. Netflix has an original show come out, like left, right, and center all the time, all year round, just nonstop stuff. HBO shows like House of the Dragon, Boardwalk Empire, Game of Thrones, their shows feel like they take more time. And also watching an HBO show versus watching a Netflix show, I feel like HBO shows are like more dense. Does that make sense? Like being raised on HBO, I don't know how to watch TV and do other things at the same time. Like when you try to fold laundry while watching Game of Thrones, it doesn't make sense. Like you're just lost. Like there's monologues on top of monologues and alliances happening all the time. Like there's so much going on that I can't casually watch that. Whereas folding laundry, watching like Stranger Things or something, I feel like I would still know what's going on. Maybe a better comparison might be like Peaky Blinders versus Boardwalk Empire. They're both great shows, but Peaky Blinders feels like it moves faster for some reason, and there's more going on all at once all the time. Boardwalk feels like a slow burn. There's a lot of detail, a lot of dialogue. It's longer, it's more drawn out. It's one of those stories where I feel like you just really need to pay attention. Again, both shows are great, they're just different. They also have a wide catalog of familiar content. Like, more often than not, you're gonna find stuff on Max that you know, like actors you recognize, movies you loved as a kid, or stuff that just came out in theaters. Meanwhile, their collection of like Turner Classic Movies, Cartoon Network, scrolling through here's like a walk down memory lane for me. Pero like, if you're one of those who only likes to watch things once because you're weird, you might see a lot of their stuff as like, been there, done that. But I'm not one of those people. I'm trying to imagine what that would be like, but I assume that would be hard. One of the main reasons that HBO original shows were like prime water cooler talk back in the day, and still are to this day, is because they didn't have the constraints of ABC or Fox. You had to pay to watch their stuff, which meant that they could do whatever they wanted. Their shows could be more violent, their snacks scenes could be more snacksual, more graphic. Some of their content, I think, is just intense for the sake of being intense. But like, it might be too much for some people. Like, I was obsessed with Game of Thrones. Big fan. I don't want to talk about the last season. But I can only watch the Red Wedding and the Mountain and the Viper episodes one time. That is all I needed. That is literally all I can stomach. Sometimes they really do just go a little too far for the everyday viewer. I don't know what happened in those during the run of Game of Thrones, but all of a sudden, really graphic scenes really bother me now. Don't know what it is. Maybe they made me care about the characters too much. I don't know. Another thing that's really great is they have the largest selection of DC content compared to other streaming services. I think because Warner Brothers is trying to do the whole DC universe thing, there's so much DC movies and shows to choose from on HBO. My personal favorite that came out was Peacemaker, highly recommend, and I thoroughly enjoyed Birds of Prey. But like, maybe I'm biased because I loved the run of Marvel shows on Netflix in the early 2010s, but I wasn't really impressed with a lot of the other DC shows that they have. You could watch the show about Alfred when he was young, or you could watch Agent Carter, which I found to just be a super fun watch and just more engaging. Same with this other one with like all the misfit characters starring like Brendan Fraser and the girl from Orange is the New Black. It was all right, but moderately forgettable. I don't know if it's a me thing, and this is probably a tangent for a different day, but I'm not trying to get reamed by like DC fanatics, but like their lineup is weak. That's all I'm saying. Except Peacemaker. Don't come for me. I'm sorry. There's also one more, but like, I don't like the UX design of the app at all. It's not easy to find things. Their categories feel really unnatural. I find myself just hitting the search bar more often than not because the way they've organized all of their shit doesn't make sense, and there's too much. Anyway, those are my thoughts about HBO Max. Overall, I feel like it's worth the price because of all of their original shows, if anything. They're so good every time. Though you couldn't pay me to watch The Idol or Euphoria, I think Sam Levinson's a creep. If somehow you haven't seen any HBO series ever, here's a few things I think you should watch. The Sopranos, Sex and the City, The Wire, Rome, Boardwalk Empire, True Blood, Game of Thrones, Westworld, skip season 2 and season 4, Lovecraft Country, The Leftovers, True Detective, Mayor of Easttown, Black Lady Sketch Show, highly recommend, Watchmen, House of the Dragon, Peacemaker, Veep, fucking Veep, Succession, High Maintenance. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what's your favorite HBO show. Otherwise, thanks again for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. I'm inherently a little bit more on Mondays, but maybe tomorrow will be less cunty. Sorry. Bye.